A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is now streaming on Hulu.
This Thanksgiving, Butterball wants you to really connect. Let's get back to sharing traditions together around the table. Let's talk like we used to. We'll help with the turkey so you can enjoy every moment. Visit Butterball.com for turkey tips.
Ask me, ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them, we'll read them, then we'll give you answers. You know it, I've got it. I've got the answer. You ask me. I'll tell you anything.
You know where I went today?
Where?
I went and got a Chinese scalp massage.
That sounds made up.
It's like a thing. I think within the health and wellness world, I don't mind dabbling in non-invasive things that at the very least feel good.
Okay.
And I went and you go to San Gabriel Valley and they have them all over and you sit, you'd love this part, in a massage chair that encompasses your whole body, including your arms. And then I had to move my arm to get the dog and then it kind of crushed my wrist. But your whole body and it massages your whole body while they they just do everything to your scalp. Massage, deep cleaning. My hair has never been softer. Doesn't look great, but it has never been softer. They analyze your scalp. They cleanse it. They put red light on it, ion, whatever. Everything they said, I was like, yes, please.
So were they like, please wash your hair before you come in? Or were they like, bring it in however it is and we'll get in there?
They were like, come on in. And I did it. And it was super relaxing. And I'm like drifting off into like deep penetrative relaxation mode. And Tianfu just decided to lose her mind because somebody was breathing somewhere. And so with soaking wet hair in a massage chair, I'm so sorry. And I had to get up and scoop her up and put her on me. Other than that, it was outstanding. So shout out to Yangtze Guan scalp massage. I love it.
Okay, well,
and I figure I travel a lot. It's a lot of dry shampoo, a lot of Delta Lounge headrests. There's got to be something in there. Of course, your scalp's dry. You've never met someone that's like, wow, your scalp's too moisturized.
I mean, I just rewatched Anaconda, and I feel like John Voight's scalp was too moisturized in that.
After he got eaten by the anaconda?
Before and after. He just had a wet, wet. 3 hairs like Homer Simpson.
Remember when it spit him out and he was like still, he was like partially digested and still alive?
He like winks at J-Lo like, I lived.
I wrote an entire term paper on that movie and got a D.
What? That's so offensive.
I had to take a disaster movies course and I didn't want to take it because I didn't and still don't care. And we had to watch movies like Towering Inferno and Poseidon Adventure. And I only watched the ones in class. And then I just had no desire to watch more movies of that genre. And so I was like, Anaconda is a disaster movie. Plus I've already seen it. And then I did like a compare and contrast paper, but I only compared.
Did you get a D because they were like, that's not a disaster movie?
I full on left out the contrast part of a compare. It was either I left out one of them. I also didn't care. Also, guess how much grades mean in film school? Guess how much grades don't matter unless you're like a lawyer or a doctor. No one cares.
Yeah, that's fair.
Pass fail, bitch. All right. I just got back from Louisiana. Shout out to Baton Rouge. I had a lovely time. New Orleans, not a fan of the sound at the venue, but the crowd was lovely. And if you're hearing this, I'm already in Savannah. And I can't stop saying it like that. I'm also reminded of the WB show, Savannah, which I know you remember.
I don't. That's the one WB show. I've never heard of that. What is that?
Really?
Yeah.
It was this like really pretty redheaded girl, and it was like a soapy show, like a Melrose Place set in Savannah. And I think the main character's name was like Peyton or something. Yes.
Probably.
And good looking people in Savannah. And that's just, it's a very like gothic French whodunit noir, like Savannah. Never been there.
Oh, well, here are the fun things there. Saltwater taffy.
That's everywhere.
Well, they're very into it. And little men dressed as robots, etc. You know, a lot of little street people by the water.
Is that the water we want to be consuming? It's not like when you go to Atlantic City, it's like saltwater taffy. I'm like, we know we flew this corn in from, like, this isn't made with the salt water. It's just corn syrup. But okay. No. I'm looking to see some drippy moss trees. And then we're in Atlanta at the Fox. I'm going to see you, I think.
Yeah. Can you, if I come to the show and I just don't talk to you, the show ends, the show starts, it ends, I walk out.
You would.
All right, well, it was a good show.
You come to my city, you come to LA and you're like, I was here. Remember me?
I was there for such a short point of time. My mom is so excited. She keeps telling my dad, we're going to Iliza. You're not.
Your dad can
and
come.
He's like,
in fact, just your dad would be preferable.
He's neither of us.
Just send the father figure.
He would just walk in and then walk out. He'd be like, all right, good show. Bye.
Good job. Good job.
Good work out there. Whereas my mom is like, oh my God, it's the Fox. And she's going to be there. Oh my God.
All right. I know you're not as impressed with how impressed your mom is about me, but I'm pretty impressed.
I'm impressed. And I always get impressed again at the Fox because it's like a theater I grew up going to. So it's crazy to like see you up there.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy we don't have more than one show sold out, but that's the economy, folks. So come on out. And now for your problems.
No fight.
I always forget. You know what? I'm just a pacifist. I always forget to fight.
You don't want to fight?
I always forget. I'm so busy hugging.
Okay, well, this sound file sounds like the person recorded on an airplane, so they're ready to fight.
Hi, Iliza. So first, before I get a little heated, I just want to say, I love you, girl, and I got you. And thank you for all you do. But I have beef with you. One of the last episodes that you came out with, you said Halloween should not be celebrated in the month of June, July, August, anytime where it's hot. But that's my freaking holiday. So I'm going to take off my spooky earrings and I'm going to fight you on this. I believe that everybody should be able to celebrate whatever holiday they're obsessed with. For me, it's Halloween in the privacy of their own home and going out and shopping for all the spooky materials, all the Christmas materials, whatever it is. Any time of the year, fight me.
And again, I don't know if they're on a plane or they're about to get into a car wreck on the highway.
Her sound's probably being muffled because she's in a Home Goods shopping for Christmas decor in June, suffocating under a fake Christmas tree, dressed as a turkey, dressed as Jack Skellington in an Easter basket. Listen.
No, her holiday is Halloween.
She also included the Christmas of it all.
Yeah.
At no point in my positing of my hot take did I say, and we will be signing this bill into law. So you can fight me, but tonally, you got to come correctly and match me absurdity for absurdity. Because when we start saying things like people have the right, I have the right to do a lot of things. I have the right to say horrible things. I have the right to practice horrible things. It's not about the right. Because we have the right. I mean, in some places, for a long time, you have the right to beat your wife. It doesn't mean, just because you have the right doesn't mean that it is right. You have the right, if you want to talk about matching your absurdity with absurdity, to fly a Nazi flag. It doesn't mean that it is right. I honestly thought when you're like, I have beef, you were going to be like, Israel shouldn't be its own state. Like, I thought this was going to be real. Honestly, whatever brings you joy. And quite frankly, I am fighting you, but softly. Like those, that's like fat guy, like soft hits, like, no, come on. The more global warming heats up, the more you will be shopping in a greenhouse for your decor. So some girls are spooky all year. You do it. If the big box retailers are selling it, you may as well get the good deals, right? Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's easier though for like spooky and Halloween to be your identity. Like no one's out here like, I'm getting ready for Thanksgiving 3 months early. Oh, it's 4 months till Easter. Got to get those eggs painted.
Yeah. There's something, well, colder holidays are cozier ones. And I've often talked about the short end of the stick that Thanksgiving gets.
Yeah.
It's just like the thing you have to do on your way to Christmas. I was going to save this for a bottom, but I may as well say it.
Okay.
Because I'm like, don't shop too early. It's September, which technically is a fall month. Each of the 4 seasons gets 3 months. That's how you divide the 12, okay?
Okay.
And I don't know what global warming is going to do to it. So technically September, October, November, those are your fall months. Even though it's still pretty warm, at least during the day in September. Yesterday, so Noah's been out of town. And so I'm like the single dad. I'm like, you want pizza for your lunch and your breakfast? I'll do it for you. Like, whatever. And I just got home from the road, not complaining, but like, whatever. So I had Sierra and took her a little birthday party where all she did was eat fruit.
Ooh.
Apparently kids don't play together until they're like over 3. So I was like, fine, eat your fruit.
They
I
just
was
stand
so
around?
What?
They just like all kind of stand near each other?
Every picture I took of her, she's by herself playing in like the art room. And I'm like, that's fine. And she ate like a peanut butter and jelly, very content. And I was like, great. They've got Stumptown coffee. It's so nice to be invited. The other moms are so nice. Went home and I was very tired. I got no sleep coming home from New Orleans, whatever. And so she took her nap and I was like, I have an idea. Cause I was like setting out my fall stuff, like our felt pumpkins. Like I'm so rarely home. So I like to make it cozy while I'm home.
Yeah.
But I don't like to do like cheap decor. So I keep things for a while. Anyways, I have very few things that I put out. And I was like, oh my gosh, what we should have are some real pumpkins just to make this nice. And we always get real pumpkins. So I look at her and I was like, would you like to go to the pumpkin patch? And I showed her pictures of her last year, not the ones of her crying. But I showed her, she got to ride a little mechanical horse. There were animals. I got her all excited. I had her change her clothes into an orange t-shirt and little pants that have animals on them. I put a fall bow in her hair. I get her all excited. We pull up. It is closed.
Ugh.
It hasn't opened yet. The internet said it was open. And I even thought when I Googled it, like, wow, it's so early. I guess people like you fighting me shop earlier and earlier. But I guess they just never bothered to pay Google to tell people it was closed. I show up. It's so closed. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's closed. How do you explain to a 2-year-old that the internet, what the internet is, and that it lied?
That it lied and it's not your fault.
And she was like, but I want to go in. And I was like, I understand. They told me the wrong thing. It's not open. And I'm like trying to cover up how upset that I am.
Right.
And I was like, I'm so sorry. And she's like trying to comprehend it. She's like disappointed because I got her all excited. And then I go, I'm so sorry. It's closed. I can't help it. And she goes, but I want you to help it. I was like, well, I can't. So we went home, watched something called Frozen Fever 10 times. And then we ate pizza together. And that was it.
Oh, well, so are you going to go back when it really does open?
Never. No, I'll go back when it does open. I'm going to make sure, I'm going to call them. I'll get into the month of October and then it'll be open.
And then you'll see what you could see.
I travel so much. Like I'm gone on Wednesday. I'm just trying to light a candle, have some.
Are you doing Savannah Wednesday and then Atlanta Friday?
No, I'm flying into Savannah early because we have to connect and you just never fucking know. So that's why I'm doing that.
Okay.
Because it actually takes quite the toll on your body. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. I know being thankful is on everyone's minds, and with thankfulness comes gratitude, a concept that, honestly, really bothers me. I'm tired of thanking everyone else. You know who deserves a thank you? Me. You deserve a thank you. When's the last time you thanked yourself? Sometimes it's hard to remind ourselves that we are doing the absolute best we can. So here I am reminding you to send some thanks to the people in your life, but mostly send some thanks to yourself. And a great way to do that is with therapy. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and it's suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time, no additional charge. You don't have to travel anywhere. They take the hassle out of finding that perfect therapist. Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Iliza today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Iliza. Fall has fallen. Winter is on its way. The days are shorter,
but they feel shorter. And just because the days feel shorter doesn't mean your to-do list gets any shorter. You still have to power through your busy days. And a great way to do that is with nutritious food from Factor's no prep, no mess meals. At the end of a short day in the fall or the winter, the last thing you want to do is have to cook. Factor has got you covered from breakfast, snacks, dinner, anything in between. Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled, like their chicken Florentine with spinach and garlic chili cauliflower. You bet. That's what I want to make myself at the end of a day where I am exhausted and my husband isn't home. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add on, like keto cookies, pressed juices, and smoothies. And because Factor meals are chef prepared and dietitian approved, you're going to love not only Factor's meals taste, but also how they support your goals, even if your goal was just making yourself dinner. Head to factormeals.com/Iliza50 and use code Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Iliza50 at factormeals.com/Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. So finally, fall is here. I have been looking forward to it. I have had a hard year in a good way. I had a baby. I have been on a nonstop tour, nonstop traveling, and it's been hot. So I'm looking forward to, of course, pumpkin spice, everything, cooler weather, and slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. I've talked about Quince before. Quince has beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Dressing expensive doesn't have to be expensive. Their clothing is beautiful, it's durable, it stands the test of time, and it's what I like to call a capsule wardrobe. I got an Italian wool cocoon coat. That's one of those, it's got like a European collar and it covers my butt so I can walk around New York City and not be chilly. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/Iliza for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Iliza to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Iliza.
All right. Yeah. Speaking of tolls on your bodies and your minds and your hearts, you probably have some wedding questions.
We're going to start with a child question because the name of the email, the subject line, daycare rat. And there isn't a real rat.
I'm like, did some kid tell on your kid? There's like a real rat. Okay.
Dear Iliza, I want to know if I should be spiteful and rat out another parent or just let it lie. I live in a country where daycare is mostly free. And by free, I mean our 40% income tax pays for it. However, I don't know. Okay. Spots are rare because there's not enough staff and there are certain stipulations. For example, kids over 2 years old are entitled to a half-day spot, but spots for children under 2 as well as full-day spots are only for families in which both parents work. If there's one stay-at-home parent, the child is not able to enroll until they're 2 and then only in a half-day spot. This is important to my story. Okay.
Oh. Okay.
When my older daughter first started daycare, I befriended a mom of a slightly older child. She seemed cool and we hung out a lot for a while. I figured out pretty quickly that she's a bit of a crook in that she lies to get what she wants.
This is the second one we've had about this.
A lying
kid
friend.
Fraud. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She seemed almost proud when she told me she got both of her kids, a toddler and a 10-month-old, enrolled in full-day spots at the daycare because she lied about being self-employed. For context, as a teacher, I had to bring in a form signed by my principal stating I worked at the school in the exact hours in order to get a full-day spot. Same for my husband. When she was asked for the same thing, she was really condescending and told them she could bring in a form signed by herself since she was the boss. However, she has not worked anywhere since the birth of her 6-year-old. I don't know why they didn't ask for tax forms as proof that she does indeed have a full-time job, since this could hardly be the first case of a self-employed parent, but figured it's not my problem. I thought it was pretty shitty, but it didn't affect me, so I let it slide. In the past year, we drifted apart because I started questioning her personality more and more, and she made a friend she clicked with and who I can't stand, so we haven't hung out in months. There's no bad blood, until recently, at least. But we just don't talk unless we run into each other in daycare. Now, because of the aforementioned staff shortage, if a few teachers get sick, the daycare closes. And only parents who absolutely cannot miss work and have no other means of childcare can bring their kids to keep the ratios. I first started getting really pissed off at her when this happened the week before Christmas. I was on maternity leave with my newborn second daughter, and my husband was deployed with the military. I was running on fumes, no family close by to help, but because I wasn't working at the time, I had to keep my toddler at home for an entire week and entertain both her and my newborn. At the end of the week, the daycare shared a message with the parents saying something like, although we were closed to most families this week, we made sure to spread some holiday cheer for the kids whose parents had to work, and in the picture, I see that her daughter had attended. A couple weeks later, the daycare closed again. It's unfortunately a frequent occurrence, so I wanted to call her out and texted, hey, since daycare is closed, do you want to have a play date with the kids? She texted me hours later saying, without an ounce of shame, sorry, I'm just now responding. I dropped the girls off anyway and went to yoga and took a long nap afterwards. I was done with the friendship, but haven't said anything. Now everything has changed, and I want to know if I should rat her out. I'm still on maternity leave. My husband was gone on another month-long assignment abroad. My daughter is technically only entitled to a half-day spot now due to my maternity leave. I pick her up after lunch every day, but the director knows my husband is gone a lot. So she said, if you ever need to pick her up late, it's fine. Keep the full day. So one day I had a PT appointment and couldn't pick her up until 3, which is when I ran into her, still unemployed, picking up both her children. That day, the daycare staff had let my daughter nap until 3 when I picked her up, which any mom will know derails the entire day when they sleep too late. I told them I wasn't happy about it because my husband is gone. I have to nurse the baby to sleep. If my toddler is still going ham at 10 o'clock at night, it's a problem. I was polite, but it wasn't the first time they had let her sleep late, so I guess I sounded annoyed, which I was. This mom overheard the conversation and felt the need to send me a voice message later that day calling me out for my rude tone and said I should keep in mind that being on maternity leave, I wasn't technically allowed to even pick her up this late. So I do good showing some appreciation so they wouldn't take this privilege away from me. I was furious. There were more instances of shitty behavior, and she frequently talked smack about other parents. I want to let the daycare director know, but my husband thinks I shouldn't burn bridges. Honestly, I have no desire to hang out with someone like this anyway, so I feel like I have nothing to lose. To be clear, I would gain nothing from this besides satisfaction, but maybe another parent could get a daycare spot. I just can't stand the fact that someone selfish gets their way and then talks shit about honest people.
Okay.
What would you do?
Okay, this is very long. Emily, what you read was very long.
I wanted all the drama.
I wanted all the drama. I want a golden goose now.
It builds. This woman.
As you're reading it, I'm thinking of all the women in their cars like, you fucking tell her, mister. First of all, this woman sounds like a single mom. Not the one talking to us, but the bad mom.
I don't think so, only because you have to have, if she was a single mom, it sounds like maybe she could have the kid go in, but if you have 2 parents that are working, the kid can't, or 2 parents that are not working, one parent.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's giving single mom vibes. I hate that I just said it's giving, but it is. I don't know why she's unemployed. It's so tough.
She doesn't want to be employed.
I wish I knew the country because I think that would inform it. Here's the truth. You actually don't know. You don't know also if at home these kids are monsters. And it's hard in a moment to judge. Like she's like, I went to yoga and took a nap. Like there is the version where she like badly needed this. What you're saying is she's taking advantage of the system. She doesn't work by choice and everything's okay. Right? Which you don't totally know, but maybe you do. And she's just awful. I was going to be like, look, live and let live. But for her to have the audacity, which kind of makes me feel like she's a sociopath, to call you and lecture you. And you're right. Kids should not be napping till 3. In general, at any age. I think the part that's difficult about this, because this is a government subsidized thing, if you did rat her out, would it be in the highest light? And would it be under the guise of like, you are taking a spot from another parent that actually might really need this? Would you be okay with that? No, you'd be doing it to be like, you called me out and I was willing to let this slide. I think what you need to do in the first place is learn to talk back. Because this woman has never been checked before, which is why she's doing this. And had you called her back and been like, that's pretty rich coming from someone who scams this system, and is doing this and another kid can't have that spot. Like, had you stood up to her, you would at least feel heard. I can't tell you what to do, but I will say either way, it's fine. As long as your kids are taken care of and everything's okay, this will not be the last person you run across. I mean, I think about the parents that lied about their kids doing like crew to get them into USC.
Yeah.
Do you know the entire story? Is the dad, like, you don't know, a piece of shit, alcoholic? Like, and she's like, I just need the kids out of the house. You know, maybe she's putting on a brave face, but it was out of bounds for her to check you like that. And you can't bring it up ever again because you'll look crazy.
Yeah. And it's really hard. I really feel this when you're following the rules. Like, this woman is at home with these 2 babies. She's not taking advantage of the system. And you see other people do it and you're like, why aren't I doing that? But you can't bring yourself to be that person.
You are not in that survival mode. And you know that if you do that, you're denying someone that actually needs it and you're doing the right thing and you're right. Your kids are taken care of. And honestly, the principal was right in being like, if you need this, because at the end of the day, it should be for the parents who absolutely need it. And we're all trying to do our best. But can you go to a different preschool? Also, you probably won't be dealing with it that long. I mean, your kids are not going to be little forever.
Well, the newborn little one, I guess. But yeah, this will resolve itself. But I understand that urge to just like, if I can't do it, that lady can't do it.
I can't say that you'd be wrong if you ratted her out, but I can't say I would do it. I probably would just I would pretend I don't even know her. She sounds like the kind of person who will make a mistake to the wrong person, but she's the one who has to live the hell of being that person. And I will say this, you will feel bad if you rat her out and she can't take her kids and you find out there's something horrible happening at home or she can't work she might just be putting on a brave face. You don't know. I would like some more context.
I was really hoping there was like a little rat and you went to pick up your kid and your kid was napping with the rat. And I'm disappointed that wasn't.
It's also like, fine, you telling her. And then the principal's like, hey, it's come to our attention that you are unemployed. And then she'll be like, how do you know that? And she'll fight it and she'll know it was you.
Yeah.
Somehow. As long as you are taken care of, it would be different if you knew a mom who was like, I have to be at the factory and I can't. What do I do with my child? That would be different. Then you would have to talk to the principal, but maybe just not for now. Maybe don't do it for now.
Yeah.
Give her one more chance and then look her in her beady little eyes and be like, I know what you did last summer. You know your secret. And then do you've been ratted. Make your finger into an R hook. A rat. You've been ratted. All right. I want updates. Because you know what, these listeners, you know what you guys are? You're kids that stay at home and you take advantage of our hospitality. And then mom and dad, Emily's the dad, obviously call. And we're like, how are you doing? How is that issue that you were so upset about the other night and I talked you down? And you're like, I don't have time for this. I'm living my life, Mom. You abandon us. And then you say you love the pod, but we never hear from you again. We need to know. Your father and I are worried. I've noticed that, at least since I've had my babies, that I smell differently when I sweat. Maybe I'm just like getting older. I don't know, but I smell differently. And I don't love that. If I'm on set or if I'm on stage or if I'm doing anything like functioning in public and I don't want sweat stains or to be aware of my stinky pits, that's when I turn to Lumi whole body deodorant because it keeps me smelling fresh all day. Lumi is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, under boobs, right ladies, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, your feet. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. How? Well, unlike certain traditional deodorants that may try to mask odor with a fragrance, Lumi is formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off
all Lumi products with our exclusive code if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack. That equals over 40% off the starter pack. Use code Iliza for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. That's code Iliza at LumiDeodorant.com. The holidays are here. And for a lot of us, the holidays mean decorating, hosting, celebrating. For me, it means a lot of traveling, and nothing feels better year-round, but especially during the cozy holidays, than a restful night's sleep in soft, luxurious sheets. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made with the finest 100% organic cotton, and they get softer with every single wash. You already know that I got Boll & Branch this summer when I needed breathable sheets to sleep in, but this holiday season, I'm actually gifting some of my friends and family Boll & Branch's Ultimate Softness Bundle. I get to choose a signature hem sheet set in any color, a signature hem pillow set, and a waffle bed blanket. And they're all getting juniper because I think it's a classy color. This way, you know you have something nice to sleep on when you visit. It's the perfect gift for you and them. Gift you and your loved ones a better night's sleep with Boll & Branch. And right now is their best offer of the entire year. For 25% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets, head to bollandbranch.com/Iliza. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Iliza for 25% off. Limited time only. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Dear Liza and Emily, I am a 37-year-old mom of 2 kids from Germany and have been living in Boston for the last 3 years. I've learned so much about this country through your comedy and the podcast, and will forever be thinking of you when I hear the baby names at baby classes. Declan, Clayton, Blessing, or my favorite, Duncan. Why would you name your kid Duncan in Boston of all places?
Oh, funny.
That's tough. For a second, I was like, that's a normal name, but yeah, that's tough. I have 2 sons, 2.5 years old and 9 months old, who mean the world to me. I'm ready for a third baby, but the problem is I really, really, really want a girl. I feel so much shame around this longing for a daughter because I should be happy to have healthy kids and the sex shouldn't matter and so on.
Of course it matters. That's ridiculous.
The heartbreak when we found out that we were having a boy was intense. I always imagined myself with a daughter. It's one of my biggest wishes to raise a daughter. I love my boys more than anything, and a little girl would make my family complete.
Yeah.
The US is basically the only country that allows sex selection with IVF, so maybe I should take this opportunity and try for a girl, or is that a crazy, ridiculously decadent thing to do?
What?
Spending so much money and going through the hormone therapy, egg retrieval, testing, and then there's no guarantee it will actually work out. Having suffered 2 miscarriages, 1 preterm delivery, preeclampsia, placenta previa, HELLP syndrome, and other things, I know how unpredictable pregnancy and birth can be, and I'm well aware of the possibility that all that time and money spent on IVF and genetic testing may only result in disappointment. I even considered trying for a third baby naturally, and if it's the third son, then I will go all in on being a boy mom. But that would also mean burying the dream of having a daughter because there will definitely be no 4th baby, and I'm not sure I can handle that. My husband is unsure what to do as he's mostly worried about my health, but he also said we should do it sooner rather than later because we don't really know how long we'll be staying in the US. Am I unreasonably selfish to think I could just, quote, buy a daughter? Should I try naturally and accept what happens? Am I just hormonal because I want another baby only 9 months after giving birth? Since we're living in the US, why not do the most US American thing and just pursue my own interest no matter the cost?
There you go.
And in parentheses, I love America. Thank you for all your wisdom and good luck for the election in November. Anonymous from Boston.
She's like, I won't be living here.
I know.
I can't. I can. It's not selfish. It is something that you want. I don't like the term hormonal, but being someone who's gone through postpartum, sometimes you're just like, I'm not myself. Something's going on here. That being said, you want a little girl. If it were hormonal, it would be right now is the first time it ever occurred to you and you're being weird about it. There's nothing wrong with wanting a little girl. You should talk to your doctor about the pros, the cons. Yeah, you could try naturally and have that little girl. It's all about what you're up for. But just moral wise, I guess, there's nothing wrong with wanting what you want. And this is an inherently American concept of like, this is what I want. I'm going to go for it. It's not about like being selfish or anything like that. It's about idealism and the pursuit of happiness. Remember? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These are big things for us. if we have this technology, and if you can be healthy and safe and pick what you want, then you should do it. If you can afford it, many people can't. And if you're up for that, it's nobody's fucking business. And don't let anyone tell you that what you want in this life, you're wanting to raise this child. It's not like you're like, I want to do all this, have the baby, and then leave it. Go for it. Go for it. This female sort of puritanically steeped submissiveness where it's like, and I'll just go with what the Lord gives me and I'll go all in. You will want a little girl and you will think about that. And it has nothing to do with how much you will love your boys and the boy mom you will become, but you want this. And if there's a chance that you can get it, you should go for it. I can't tell you that you should go for it, 50 grand in, if you're sick, whatever. Those are your choices. But in terms of the morality of the situation and the look of it, you want something, go get it. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. If you have that available to you, if you have the money and that's what you want to spend it on, I don't think there's a problem with that. The same thing that affects this podcast and you, Iliza, as a comedian, especially as a female comedian, like, what about other people can have baby. Other people are doing this. This is happening. Like even,
okay.
Who, okay.
I'm not putting them through anything. Me having money, you having money and the resources to do IVF is not taking away from someone else not having that.
Right.
Like that is the definition of, I was going to say live and let live, but I guess you are destroying some embryos. But these are legal things and it has nothing to do. It might upset some people. They may not have lived their life that way, but good news for them, they don't have to do it.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm sorry, carrying a baby, nothing about what happens would suggest that your body is prepared for that. It is not natural. It is a weird thing. And if you're going to be uncomfortable for 9 months, you should get something that you're looking forward to. It's not that you wouldn't. We don't need to go into, of course, I love my little boy, but you deserve to feel good about this. Go for it.
I think I would just caution, go for it, go nuts. But you probably want some sort of therapy to deal with, even if you have a girl. You have all these dreams and hopes and wishes about raising a girl. And that's not to say you're neglecting your sons in any way, but that is a lot of very focused attention that would only be on her. I think you want to just be careful, but that's a ways off. Have the baby.
Kind of okay when it's a girl, because boys, it's easier for boys. And it's okay if she gets extra whatever, because boys don't need as many physical things, material things.
You can't say that, Iliza, because that's the problem.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay, well.
Yes, you still have to give boys certain things, but I do think girls need things to be made more of a big deal. Hence, example, birthdays. You've never met a guy that's like, it's my birthday week.
Because they're not allowed.
Because girls are not allowed to feel special most of the time. So we have to have extra things. I need extra things. I need skincare. I need flowers. I need these things. I like these things. I'm not giving my husband flowers. He didn't care. And put them in the compost.
Well, that's nice. He loves compost.
The world is made of feminine and masculine, and it's nice. It's great to be a boy mom. And then you as the mom can do extra girly things for yourself because you live in a house with all boys. And so have that little girl and you can do all the girly things. And it's very normal to want these things. I know that we get very weird about gender in this country, but it's very normal to want to do girly things. I am very upset that my daughter seems to like unicorns because I hate the idea of it. I hate the whole lore around it. But I was like, okay, we'll find you some bullshit unicorn. And she didn't like it. It turns out she just wanted the one unicorn thing. So.
What about, are you going to introduce her to mermaids?
No.
You're keeping those from her.
There are plenty of things that she can discover on her own.
Okay.
If she sees one or she's at a friend's house, in the meantime.
This sounds like when somebody learns about religion. At other people's homes, maybe they're going to talk about mermaids, but not in our house.
I actually think there are certain things you don't have to reinforce it. You don't have to make it taboo. You could just, I don't know. No, I don't like the mermaid thing. So, okay. But if she comes home and she's like, I love mermaids, I'll be like, okay, well, let's get the most normal looking anatomically correct one.
Oh,
gross.
That's horrible. Okay. Somebody wrote in, and this is not a question, but I'm reading it to you anyway, because I think it's a great poll. They say, love uncovering more of your work. Hi, Iliza and Pod Crew. I've been a fan for not as long as I'd like to be. Your Elder Millennial show was recommended to me by several friends. They mentioned that there was this amazing comedian who made goat noises. and that we spoke
It's a
with similar
sheep.
inflection. I know you'd want to
Folks,
correct
it's a
that.
sheep.
So I watched and was hooked. I've been trying to devour as much of your art as possible. I thoroughly enjoy your topics and point of views. I've had many endless laughs from your words, as well as tears of empathy and ideas for further thought. So thank you. I enjoy your podcast and I'm delighted that I have years of back episodes to tune into. I deal with my own complex PTSD and there are not too many audio stimuli that I enjoy. However, your podcast hits the mark. Now here's why I'm reading this to you. It's very important. I recently uncovered a delightful movie titled The Right One, in which you portray Kelly, a literary agent, and that role seemed to have been written exactly for you. I'd love to know more about the backstory. Also, I'd love for you to be my literary agent, except my children's books do not end in death, LOL. Keep the thought-provoking stuff coming. Congratulations on the growing family. How often do you get asked about The Right One, and was that role written for you?
Literally never.
Yeah, I thought that was exciting.
Yeah. I said that like I don't speak English. I hate his name. This director, producer named Ken Mock, who I think did America's Next Top Model.
He was like a producer.
Yeah. Really nice guy. Offered me the role. And it's rare to get offered a role that doesn't upset me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was honestly, it was a nice paycheck and it shot in Vancouver. And the girl who was in it, I'm sure you're looking at the page.
Is it Cleopatra Coleman?
Yes. Is so beautiful, was so lovely. She was like my client. And I read the lines and I was like, these are the kind of parts I want to play. He let me be funny. That's it. Sometimes you get these offers. You don't know the producer, the director. They just ask for you and I could make it and it was an easy shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and I did it. The point is it was easy. For me, it's all because of my touring. Like, unless it's a major motion picture, it's just like, yeah, can I get in and get out and make it my own? And it's not something like weirdly sexual or dismissive or about like an over 40-year-old woman who's unlovable.
Yeah.
But then her uterus cracks in half and then she's a tampon salesman and then she's drunk. Like,
you got like a custom, jacket or something with a tiger on it for that one? There was like cool.
No, that was,
was that?
Super Cool, which was
Super
a Finnish
cool.
film.
Right. Sorry.
But yeah, that's it. There's not a lot to it. And that's The Right One. And I'm very good in it.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
I have that in my collection, in my Iliza collection.
Cleopatra Coleman. Yeah, not a name I've thought of lately, but I really...
She's in everything now, so...
Yeah, she's not only pretty, but she's very talented, and she was lovely.
Yeah, good for her. All right, we have a follow-up.
Red Hot Update.
And it's an exciting one, because this question is from April. So, there was a couple, woman and a man, and the man had a friend in they were mutual friends with a guy in his 50s who would come over and use their laundry.
Mm-hmm.
All
Do you want to give him a little
time. Yeah. So he would come over. It was 4 years. He didn't want, in the COVID, he didn't want to go to a laundromat. But he was coming over every 2 weeks on weekends. And then and when he's there, he would offer to buy lunch. Like they would hang out, but he was just there every other weekend. And she was just kind of over it because it was 4 years.
We were saying
of that.
like it had stopped being like cute. Like, and then we go for lunch and it's like, we don't actually want you here and you're using our washer dryer.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, maybe he's lonely. I don't remember the advice we gave because I'd have to hear the rest of the question, but that's what it was. She was over it. She was over having him over.
Yes. And basically her husband was kind of like, I mean, I don't know. We're like friends. I don't know why you're upset with him always asking. So our question asker felt like the bitch that she's like, I just don't want him here anymore. And he's like, I don't know why not. So
most of our questions, including the one we just had about the daycare, involve a woman being like, this is encroaching on my personal space. And the husband's like, I don't know. Seems chill.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. So
you're like, he's physically in me. I'm like, well, you don't want to rock the boat.
So she says, one night, completely organically, my husband and I had a conversation about this person using our washer and dryer, and I finally laid it out for him this way. The friend in question is not mentally handicapped or financially burdened, but he's having a hard time connecting with people. To me, he needs to grow up and be an adult when something breaks in his home. He used to be the primary caregiver of his elderly parents. They passed, and I think he had a hard time taking care of himself when the focus had been on his ailing parents for so long. So thank you for giving me initial feedback about how to handle it. My husband agreed with me that his friend needs to take action with the responsibilities that befall us all and stop being lazy when it comes to something as basic as laundry and getting his own washer and dryer units fixed in his home. He has not been back to our house since this conversation. We've been able to hang out with him without the need to be at our house on a Sunday washing his delicates. It's way better this way. The friendship feels like friendship again versus letting him buy us lunch while he does this mundane task. Happy to be one of the 6 people listening to the pod.
Ouch.
That's what you always say. She's saying what you say.
I said you're right. No, it's great. See, our advice works. Turns out, as women, a little bit of sugar, standing up for yourself, just saying what you need to express usually does the trick. And I'm so glad you did that. That actually, like, my neck untenses a little bit.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as relaxes.
Well, I wonder, it sounds like the husband just kept being like, oh, it's fine. But when she laid it out as this man needs to learn to take care of himself and be a man, the husband's like, oh yeah, he should just get his washer and dryer fixed.
That's right, because men don't like it when other men are not pulling their
weak.
weight. He's like, what? Someone's being a beta? Someone's being less manly? Let me get in there. And he probably talked to him. Was like, you can't just come over here.
Yeah.
As you gave him that accent. Sometimes men talking to other men, they just understand it differently. And that's just the way of the world. That's just what it is.
This email subject line, bride who's not a nurse. We'll allow
She's
it.
like, please pick me. It'll be different.
Dear Iliza, Baby Arm, Smokey Husky, Hot Scotty, Human and Fur Babies. Became an instant fan when I saw your Netflix special Freezing Hot back in 2015. My fiance and I even made the joke when we picked our fall wedding date that it would be pumpkin everything.
Love it.
Not actually. It's not the homecoming dance. We're real grown-up, classy now. And that we would have to remind all the 20-something friends and family members that they will, in fact, need a jacket. Here is my pickle. I, 33 female, do not have a close relationship with my father. My parents separated when I was 2. My mother raised me with my stepdad, came along when I was 6, and other close family. My father was barely present except when he wanted to show off and pretend to be a good dad. He got remarried when I was 4. My mom bought my flower girl dress. My grandmother on his side told me that. He didn't even buy the flower girl dress. There were even years where I refused to speak to him because I was tired of not feeling as important as my half-sisters and him making side comments about my mom. Once my fiance and I had our sons, I decided to try and let old resentment go and let him be present with his grandsons, which he barely is. Thankfully, they're so loved, they don't notice or care. Our relationship is fine now, but we only rarely text and see each other 3 times a year, even though we live an hour apart. To my question, how do I tell him he is not walking me down the aisle? When having lunch with my sisters last week, finishing the centerpieces, they mentioned how excited he is to walk me, and I told them I was confused because he isn't and my stepdad is. They both totally agreed with how I felt. They both knew they were the golden daughters while I was left behind. Literally, he took them to Disney World but left me behind.
Awful.
But I'm wondering how to have a grown-up conversation about it. My stepdad said when I asked him that if my dad caused a fuss, he would step aside because I don't need the stress on my happy day. But I told him it's my wedding and I would do what makes me happy, which is what I'm going to do since it's my day with my fiance and our boys. He is invited as a guest, but also won't be seated at the parents' table.
Oof.
I'm not a heartless monster, so I want to do it gently but firmly as to not cause drama right before my wedding. Thanks, a bride who just wants a nap.
Let me ask you a question. Is this truly what you want, or do you want to hurt him? And I'm not asking that having the right answer. These are very pointed things to do, and you are within your right. And I get it. Trust me, I get it. To feel the way that you feel. But will you feel better when you look over and you see him sitting with like your malformed cousins at the weirdo table? Will you feel better when your stepdad and mom walk you down the aisle and he's just sitting there smiling? Or will you feel better having at least expressed to him how you feel? Because, and I'm just saying this to you, if you are resolved to do it, then you need to have a conversation with him. But I think you need to have a conversation either way. And I bet you that when you do have that conversation about how he's not going to be participating, it will be a very emotional one because it's about your relationship. And what you're actually saying to him is, I can't believe you tossed me to the side. I'm your daughter. How dare you pretend to be my dad on this day? And how dare you masquerade in front of everyone as my father? And as you said in your own words, you know, when he just wanted to show off and like look like a good dad. So this is going to be embarrassing for him. And if he says to you, I understand and you are right, It might make you feel better, but I bet you then you're like, okay, you can. I get it because I've been there. My parents are very divorced and my dad does have other kids and we've definitely gone through, I mean, we're fine now, but like some rough stuff. I think for your own mental health going into this wedding, you need to have a serious talk with your dad. And you could write it out, but you need to come prepared to be like, I need to let you know how my life with you has felt. He might surprise you. He might be like, we couldn't take you because da-da-da-da-da-da. Your mom said no. I said, okay, I'll hang back. Like you kind of, when it's in a divorce, you kind of, like your grandma gave you that. She's like, your mom bought that, by the way. Your mom was never going to tell you that she bought your flower girl dress for your dad's new wedding. So all these little things trickle out that you never knew because you weren't the one getting divorced. So I'm not saying your dad's right, but I think the most important thing here is that you feel heard and whole and not like you're looking forward to hurting someone on your wedding day. If you really want it to be about you, then you have to have the clarity and you have to be unburdened by that. Because even if you guys fight and it's awful, like at least you said what you had to say. No, you don't get to pretend that everything's been amazing, like you care about me. And he might care and he might just be bad at showing it. Like it doesn't sound like you've ever given him the chance to explain himself or apologize. I had everyone walk me down the aisle. I had my stepmom and stepdad walk me halfway. And then my mom and dad walked me the other half, I think.
I don't remember that. No, I think it was just your mom and dad.
You're right. Just my mom and dad. Just my mom and dad. And you know what? My stepdad did a lot for me.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I did that. Because at the end of the day, those are your parents. So I'm telling you, because I've done plenty of, I need to be heard. Here's my letter. Here's my conversation. You will feel so much better. You need to be operating from a place of release versus anger, because those are very angry gestures.
Tell him as soon as possible so he can deal with the fact that he's not walking you down the aisle. But is there another way? Look, you shouldn't sacrifice the way you want your wedding to look. Your stepdad has been there for you. Your dad hasn't. Is there like a BS job you can give your dad to like give him something to do? Or is that even asking too much when this guy just hasn't felt like he's particularly there for you?
Or just do it. I mean, I definitely went to a wedding where the dad was just like a philanderer and a nobody. And the bride walked down the aisle with the dad and the stepmom. And the dad just was kind of like, yeah, I'm not great. And he just sat there, sitting him at another table. I don't know. I mean, that's definitely a pointed thing to do. But I get if your mom doesn't want to sit by him, maybe you can sit him at a table with his own relatives or something.
I mean, that's the thing. Maybe he's with his wife and the half sisters and, that he's with all those people. And that makes sense. But tell him now.
Interesting. It's also interesting that your half sisters are like, yeah, it sucks what he did. So that, it could have been like life got going and he didn't know what to do. And I don't know if your stepmom is innocent in all this, but at the end of the day, he's the one that didn't make more of the effort. But because the parents are divorced, you don't know the whole story. Because you're going to go to your dad and you're going to say all this and he might do a full mea culpa or he'll surprise you and be like, we tried. But your mom wanted you to go to this thing that day and that's when I had off. So that's when we took, like, you just never know because there's so many years and secrets and emotions and feelings. So do it. If you're going to do this to your dad, do it with the clearest conscience, not angry, just in terms of what's best for you. If you truly believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I like how I was like, here's what I did. And you're like, no, you didn't.
No, I'm here to fact check. I'm the fact checker. It's just like the debate. Only you are getting fact checked.
Well, that's so funny. Will you just do me a favor and say, I'm the French baby.
I'm the French baby.
I'm the French baby.
Who's the French baby?
It's this big Frida song. She's like, I'm the first lady. And I just want you in like a bonnet and a rattle going, I'm the French baby.
I need a beret.
Yeah, a beret.
And a striped baby onesie. Okay.
What's this podcast about?
You're about to have an important decision to make. Hi, Iliza, Baby Arm, Hot Scotty, Noah, all the wonderful and joyful babies, both human and fur. I'm not sure if any of my coworkers listen to your podcast, so if you could refer to me as Jade or Buttface, I'd appreciate it. Whatever is allowed on air. Now, Iliza, what's allowed? You want to go with Jade?
Buttface is allowed. This isn't fourth grade public radio, but we'll go with Jade.
I have a dilemma concerning my coworker. I'm 34 female, and I'm a paralegal. Sorry, not a grad student or a nurse. I like when they apologize. I'm so sorry. I work in a small office where I'm one of two legal assistants. My coworker is a bit older than me and has two kids who just started preschool. I noticed she's been stressed more this past week. And one time during our conversation, she said something along the lines of that you'll never understand the stress level when it comes to kids. I don't have children. I don't plan on having children, which she's aware of. My reasons are my own. I never disclose them to her. The second time happened yesterday. We were talking about work, and all of a sudden she says it again. No one has ever said it to me before, so both times I didn't know how to address it, so I didn't say anything. I'm not sure what I'm feeling 100%, but I'm not happy with these remarks. They seem very out of left field, especially considering one of our conversations was nowhere near talking about children. I don't think it would matter even if it was. I don't want to bring it up with her now because the moment is gone, but I do want to stand up for myself in the future should it happen again. If it does, what would be an appropriate way to address it with her? P.S. Looking forward to seeing you live in January in Vancouver. Much love, Jade.
Are you discussing work stresses? Or is it just like, I think I'm going to get the Cobb salad? You'll never understand.
It sounds like
because you'll never.
The first time, yes, they were discussing work stresses. The second time, no. And she's just like, you'll never get it. You'll never understand.
It has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And you will never get it because it's a different kind of stress. Just like I'll never understand what it's like to code and be stressed and drink energy drinks and wear a hood.
Know what it's like
just
at my office job. I'll
never know what it's like to be anyone else.
Yeah.
What she's saying has nothing to do with you. And it is like the battle cry of every mother, because unless you've gone through this experience of having a child and not even giving birth to one, being a parent, there's no way to describe it. It's not your fault. It doesn't matter. And the fact that you don't have kids, never will have kids is irrelevant. It has nothing to do with you. This woman is completely stressed out.
The slight relevance is if you're trying to have kids, you're infertile, you can't for whatever reason, it's
she's
more
not
hurtful for this woman
we don't know.
Continuously be like, you'll never get it. But let's disregard that.
No, you're right. And it could be, you know what? Obvious. Yeah, you don't have to tell us the answer, but especially if your reason is something medical, personal, sexual versus like, I just don't want them, I don't like them, then it's probably painful.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever the reason, you can simply say to this person who is saying this flippantly, because it doesn't feel pointed. It feels like a throwaway, like, oh, you'll never understand. I mean, it's just because I find myself feeling that sometimes because you can't really explain it. And that's not her fault and it's not your fault, but her continuing to say it, the way she's phrasing it is within her control. So since we were talking earlier about you need to stand up for yourself and say something back, you can simply say to her, then I guess there's nothing we should be discussing because I can't ever understand the frustrations you're going through. So then why are we talking? If you wanted to really put it to her, or you could lightly be like, I just have to tell you, you always are sort of dismissing my feedback or what I'm saying in a conversation because I don't know what it's like to have kids. And I want you to know that it's really hurtful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I bet you she'll be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Because it doesn't sound like she's doing it to hurt you. And to be, not that we need to be fair to her, she doesn't know what you're dealing with. So you could just be a young woman who she assumes will just have kids one day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she doesn't know. We don't know. I remember one time I called a friend of mine who I considered very thin. She was like eating something and I was like, get it, big girl. Because she wasn't big. And she got very upset.
Right.
And I was like, are you okay? She's like, I used to be really overweight. And I was like, wouldn't have known, didn't know.
Yeah.
We'll never call you that again.
Yeah.
We all walk around like loaded guns and you just have no idea what's going to trigger you.
Yeah.
So give her the benefit of the doubt of at least telling her. And if she keeps doing it, then she's just got her head up her ass.
It's just that immature thing. Like it would happen in college all the time. Says, oh, I didn't sleep at all. Oh, I only slept an hour. Oh, I did an all-nighter. Like this weird brag of how much harder you have it. Like it doesn't mean anything, but that is annoying.
It's annoying because it seems like it's a very personal thing for you versus like just a choice because you don't like them.
Yeah.
And so she's right. You will never know, but it's hurting you and you don't have to tell her why, but you can say like it dismisses my feelings and we're in a conversation. So constantly telling me that I can't possibly understand where you're coming from. What's the point of even talking?
Right. Right. Okay, we have to do Top of the Cob because I'm so excited for a listener Top of the Cob.
It's the Top of the Cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite, Top of the Cob.
I love to hear it.
That is related to our last two Top of the Cobs, and it seems like we've sold out to Big Cookie. But as soon as I heard 10 Baby Cokes from Now last week, the episode 2 weeks ago, I squealed and immediately got the signs changed and website updated for Top of the Cob. cobbler cookies. Thank you so much for the mention. People have come in telling us they heard about us from you. We have the item back in rotation on Saturdays, available on our site. And there is a picture of the menu. And
What's the
it
website?
is,
What's the website? Going now.
Pie-jacked.
Cute cherry pie. Is it one in Texas?
Yes, it's right at the top under seasonal treats.
Seasonal treats. Piejacked.square.site. Top of the cob cookies. Cobb is okay. I should say top of the cob with 2 B's, but top of the cobbler cookies, $5 to $24. Top of the cob cookies are renamed cobbler cookies as requested by actress and comedian Iliza Schlesinger on our Ask Iliza Anything podcast. Delicious, oversized fruit top cookie. It's like an upside down cobbler. As Iliza explains, the top of the cob, you have to spell cob with 2 B's.
So demanding of this small business.
I'm just trying to help the small business. Is the best part because it's the cakey, gooey, sweet part with just a little bit of filling. Top of the cob.
The blueberry one looks really good. Even though it feels like this is all a psyop because I've now talked about these cookies 3 weeks in a row, it's very cool that you actually put it on your site. Like, I'm overly delighted.
I think it's incredible. And I love that people are asking for them.
Yes.
And the next time I'm in Round Rock, which I won't be, so I got to make an effort to go there because it's outside of Austin, I'm getting that cookie.
Yes. This is exciting. All right. What's your top?
Congratulations, Pie Jacked. You actually got Emily to say she was excited. Tasty. And they ship.
Yeah.
Okay, what's yours?
My top of the cob is I flew out to LA. It was very stressful. It was a very short trip, but I flew out to produce something that I came up with. So I booked the talent. I got them there. I oversaw the taping and whatnot. Got them their parking validation. It felt really cool. I'm very pleased.
You look good. I saw the pictures. You were like in charge. You had the hands up.
Yeah.
What?
I'm flinging my printed out pieces of paper around.
More emotion, more passion. I love that. I liked seeing you do that. I was happy for you.
Yeah, I'm like the guy in Showgirls when he's yelling at all the women.
Ha!
Yeah.
Ah, get it up.
Yeah.
Ah! Just doing bridges wrong. My top of the cob goes out to the other mothers at my daughter's school.
Oh.
I appreciate that we are not in real school yet. She is just in an animal group. You know, it's not pre-K, it's not kindergarten. And I know that it can get competitive and we're not in a situation yet where we're taking tests and making teams. The mothers at this school are so friendly. The whole school is friendly. But I went to a birthday party the other day and it wasn't even moms that are like in my kids' grade. Everybody was nice. Nobody was shitty. I went up to the one mom who was like really put together, which was frustrating for me. And I felt the need to tell everyone that I had just gotten off a plane because I had. And I was like, but I made it to the party. You guys, free coffee. And I just said to her, someone was like, oh, that's the head of the PTA. And I went up and I was like, I just want to say thank you. And I'm glad that there are women like you that do this stuff. And she was like, thanks. And one of the other moms put out a coffee bar on the first day. And I noticed how nice she had made it. Like labeled syrups. Like I was like, this is nice. She was like, do you want some? And I was like, no, that's a lot of sugar. But it was just so nice to see the effort. And it is always the women. There's moms behind it, like taking time out of their busy schedules. And, you know, as much as it's easy to like shit on moms or be like, I don't care about this. My kid's at school. I don't want to be a part of these losers. Like everybody has a job, is successful, and is trying and cares. And nobody seemed annoying. Everybody was very friendly. Everybody talked to everyone. I just liked it. I was like, this is easy. This is nice.
Yeah.
They were just sweet. I mean, our kids are so little. And some of them don't even play with the other kids, as we found out. Bottom of the cob.
Okay, bottom of the cob. I guess we can do fan. Dear Liza and Emily, my bottom of the cob is that I just moved back to the U.S. after 6 years living in Europe, and I'm so horrified by the wastefulness in my workplace and in general. I know this is something Iliza talks about a lot, and I expected it to a certain extent, but witnessing it every day has been so much more upsetting than I could have anticipated. Nobody turns the lights off when they leave a room. Everyone uses 1 million plastic cups with lids and straws every day. The staff lounge is stocked with styrofoam coffee cups. The list goes on and on. part of me thinks people are just ignorant, but I also suspect a lot of people relish in this because it harkens back to mass consumption in general. Anyway, this makes me feel gross and it really spikes my existential dread about moving back. Thanks for all you do. Love you both and always look forward to Wednesdays. Love, Sad Ex Expat.
Yeah, it's really bad. And I also wonder if you maybe moved back to the South. When I was in Louisiana, I was like, oh, look at all these cute coffee places in Baton Rouge. Every single one, almost every single one did their coffee in styrofoam.
Yeah.
And I was like, did we just not get the memo on this? Or is this just like part of the conservative values of like, we're not letting it go? I'm like, it will full body cancer. Like you're putting a hot beverage in styrofoam. It's like instant Alzheimer's. And it is funny, like as much as I shit on LA and California, like when I see someone put something in a plastic bag, I'm like, whoa, they don't do this where I come from.
Yeah, what are they doing?
So it is a conservative versus liberal thing. It is a money thing. My mom was like, don't make fun of those people. And I was like, this is a nice coffee shop. This isn't like immigrants putting things in styrofoam because it's all they can afford. Like this is a choice.
Yeah.
It's awful. And we do it worse than anyone else. I went to a Christmas festival in Germany and the cups were all like mugs and you rented it, you used it, and then you dropped it off at the end.
Yeah.
There's too much money to be made by making cheap plastics and people are lazy and they want to keep their profits fat. So it's a fucking bummer and it's gross. And welcome home.
Yeah.
Let freedom ring.
Well, my bottom of the cup is
also, I'm not going to just say it's a United States thing. Go to China.
Okay.
Every single thing you eat is in single wrap plastic. Every dish and not even China, Asia in general, they are obsessed with plastic, probably because they provide it to us. You go to the street food, everything is in a cup, in a carrier that's plastic with a plastic lid. I was in San Gabriel Valley today and I went to a really great coffee shop. Every single baked good was in its own open-ended plastic thing. There's just like zero fucks given.
Yeah.
So easy with the US part of it, although we are awful. Just know that our Asian brothers and sisters are just like living for plastic consumption.
My bottom of the cup is on my flight back here, I got a row to myself and it was so incredible. How am I supposed to go back to my life of sitting in economy with my little legs cramped up? I was like, this is fun. I was kicked back. I got a disgusting drink. I got a bistro box because I was like, I have space. I'm going to enjoy it.
Were you on Delta?
Yeah.
Love a bistro box.
Oh, so
Little
good.
packet of olives. Yeah.
No, the olives are in the market box. Or maybe I got the market box and not the bistro.
You got the market box.
I got the market box.
Yeah.
It was so
it's
nice.
Tough. It's tough to go back.
I was thinking, I was like, this is what they're doing up there in the front. I feel like I have space.
Wait till you see what they're doing in first class.
Oh.
Wait till you see the 2 inches of extra leg room that I get by paying thousands more.
Oh, yeah.
My bottom of the cob also involves a Delta flight. I left my book on the flight from LA to Mississippi. It was a very early flight. Amateur move, put it in the front pocket, in the seat pocket in front of me. Don't know why I even did that. I think I took it out to move stuff around.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I fell asleep. I was never going to read that early in the morning. And I left it. And it feels, I had things in there that I'd underlined that I was never going to reference again. Like I was into it. So I did order another copy of a book called At Home by Bill Bryson because I do find it comforting to dive into because it's an incredibly dense book.
Yeah.
But it was that sad thing. I got to the hotel. I was like, I'm not going to scroll. I'm going to read. Oh, it's gone. Oh, well, I guess I just like it.
You have to scroll. Yeah. Legally.
Scroll to Amazon, buy a new book. Folks, I love seeing you guys at the shows. So many fans at every show come up to me at the meet and greet.
And you better be representing at Atlanta. I'm sorry, I got excited.
In the middle of a thing.
I got those cobbler cookies got me.
They got you going. Yeah, I'm excited to see you guys in Atlanta. Emily and I are going to try to do a live episode there. I wanted to do one in front of try to do an episode. Just a regular episode.
Yeah.
I wanted to do a taped one. I don't think I'll be there with enough time. But we've got some fun stuff coming up. I do have to say that. And that's all I will say.
Okay.
Show-wise. But tickets at iliza.com/tour. We're coming to Atlanta. And then I'm going to see you pretty soon in Kansas and Columbus, Detroit. And of course, we have tickets for the taping of my Amazon special. I don't want to brag, but we've got a lot of cool options for outfits and nails. We'll see you there, probably see you in New York, and we've got the routing for next year all set. We'll see you guys soon. And remember, it's not how fast you twirl, it's
How wobbly.
nope.
You work in tough conditions, and those conditions are brutal for your construction vehicles. Your engines need filters that stand up to the extreme environment. Wix heavy-duty filters are built to withstand whatever you can dish out, engineered to extend service intervals, and keep your equipment running. Less downtime means you get more done. Wix heavy-duty filters are tested and trusted to protect engines because you deserve filtration you can trust. Wix filters. Keep your engines working as hard as you do.
Hell's gates are open. Get ready to save humanity in Diablo IV, Vessel of Hatred. Continue the saga and carve your own path through Sanctuary's cursed lands with massive updates to character progression, difficulties, and loot systems for powerful demon-slaying action. Unleash fierce skills as you embark on an immersive campaign, tackle new co-op dungeons, and team up with allies using the new Party Finder. Hell awaits you. Save 35% off Diablo 4 and Vessel of Hatred today in the Diablo 4 expansion bundle. Rated M for mature.